Hello story lovers, welcome to Folks and Tales, your one-stop channel for stories that inspire and lessons that last. Bad behavior is not easy to do away with. It is like a birthmark stamped on one's skin. It needs extra effort to put away bad behavior. Some even need lessons to learn from before they can jump out of their nasty characters. Udora was her name, a girl who lived with her mother. She was a very beautiful girl, the kind that made heads turn wherever she went. Her ebony black color always glowed as she walked with confidence. But behind this striking beauty was a very arrogant person. Udora was rude. She spoke without care and belittled people irrespective of their age. She was the first and only child, so she grew up to be pampered by relatives. Her mates never went close to her so they wouldn't be insulted. Udora felt like she knew it all. Respect was something she demanded but never gave. Once corrected, she would snap at the person instantly. Many admired her but couldn't stand her presence because of her arrogance. Udora was not only impolite to strangers, but even her mother, Yui. Yui was a woman with firm discipline, though life wasn't kind to her since her husband died. Udora was just 3 years old then. She still carried herself with dignity, but her greatest challenge was Udora, who was sharp-tongued. Yui was not only disappointed in her daughter, but also herself for letting her only child grow up to be ill-mannered. Yui tried correcting her, but it was already too late. One afternoon, Yui sat outside weaving a basket, but she still had to prepare dinner. Udora, Yui called. Go to the market and buy some pepper for the soup. Udora did not even glance at her mother as she was filled with so much disinterest. Udora, did you not hear me? Yui exclaimed. Udora sighed and finally turned her head. And why must I be the one to go? She asked lazily. Did you see any other person here? Her mother responded. Now get up and go to the market so I can get done with this. Udora grumpily went. The disrespectful nature of Udora grew stronger and stronger as she extended it to suitors that came asking her hand in marriage. Despite Udora's rudeness, so many men came to ask her hand in marriage because of the glowing beauty and confidence she possessed. The sun was beginning to set in Yui's compound. Kojo, a well-respected man, had come with his elders to formally ask for Udora's hand in marriage. He was a hard-working farmer known for his kindness and humility, and many mothers in the village wished for a son-in-law like him. Dressed in his finest attire, Kojo sat in confidence, his face filled with hope as he glanced at Udora, who sat opposite him. The elders exchanged pleasantries, and Mama Udora beamed with pride. She had prayed for a responsible man to marry her daughter, and here he was. But Udora, who had been quiet all through, suddenly let out a mocking chuckle. She shifted her seat, crossing her arms as she looked at Kojo with an expression of amusement. So, you want to marry me? She asked, tilting her head. Kojo nodded, smiling. Yes, Udora. I have admired you for a long time. I believe we will make a good home together. Udora grinned. You make a good home with me? She let out a laugh. Farmer, do you think I was born to wake up every morning and smell a goat's poo? I should sit in a dusky hut while you go around chasing chickens in the yard? The whole atmosphere was uneasy as the elders exchanged glances, while Yuri's face was filled with shame. Udora, there is no way to speak to a man who has come with his people for your hand in marriage. Her mother scolded, her voice trembling with disappointment, but Udora was not moved. She waved her hand dismissively. Mama, I will not marry a man who spends his days digging the ground like a rat. I deserve someone better, someone who wears fine clothes, not a man who smells of palm oil and sweat. Kojo's face fell. He had said nothing. He simply stood shaking his head in disappointment. I was the one who made a mistake to think that an ill-mannered lady like you will make a good home with me. Kojo left with the elders. Yui was so pissed. She had never been more ashamed of her daughter. You see all these good men you rejected. I hope you don't regret it in the future, Yui said to her daughter. Udora ignorantly stood up and left. Yui sat and lamented on why her husband would leave and let all the workload be on her. One day, Yui started a discussion with her daughter while they were sitting in the living room. Udora, my daughter, she called. When will you stop sending away good men? You are no longer a child. Udora, who sat on the couch looking at her nails, replied, Mama, I will not marry just any man. If he is not rich and good looking, of what use is he to me? Many men have indeed come. Ojo, the strong hunter with a heart of gold, had come, but Udora rejected him. He smells of the bush, she had said. Nelly, a wise farmer with hectares of land, had come. He's too ordinary. She had waved him off. Even Udomi, the wealthy trader from the neighboring village, had tried. He's not handsome, she had declared. But this evening was different. As the night drew nearer, footsteps were approached the compound, and a well-dressed man appeared at the gates. He was tall, with smooth dark skin that glittered. His white robe fits perfectly, and his red beads glowed against his neck. Behind him stood two servants, each carrying a gift: baskets of yams, pots of palm oil, and rolls of the finest fabric. Mama Udora gasped in surprise, wiping her hands hurriedly on her wrapper as she came forward. Ah, a guest? The man smiled, his teeth white and perfect. Good evening, Mama, he greeted with a smooth, deep voice. I am Daki, son of Chief Abiku of Umide. Udora, who barely looked up at previous suitors, suddenly had interest. Daki turned to her with his warm gaze. I've heard of your beauty, Udora, and I have come to seek your hand in marriage. Mama Udora, however, was not convinced. She sat stiffly, her lips pressed together as she observed Daki. Something about him unsettled her, though she could not place what it was. Daki, you say you're from Umide? Mama Udora began, her voice firm. Yet, I have never heard of you before. Daki chuckled. Ah, Mama, that is because I am a quiet man. I do not boast of my achievements, but those who know, know. Yui nodded slowly, not breaking her gaze. And why, my daughter? Why travel all the way for her when there are many beautiful maidens in your land? Daki came forward slightly, his expression insincere. Because Udora is different, he said. His voice sounded like the reach. Her beauty shines like the morning sun, and her name has even reached my ears. I want a wife who will match my status, and a queen to sit beside me. Udora blushed, feeling her heart swell with pride. Here was a man who recognized her worth, and a man who saw her not just as a wife, but as a queen. Yui was unmoved. She hummed. You're rich. You are handsome. You speak well. But tell me, what kind of a man are you inside? Daki replied, Mama, I am a man of kindness, a man who provides for his own. If I were not, would I be offering your daughter a life of wealth and comfort? Udora, impatient with her mother's questioning, finally spoke. Mama, what else do you want? He's everything a woman could want. He is rich, fine, and treats me well. Daki, sensing the tension, reached into the leather pouch beside him and pulled out a small bundle of money, placing it gently in front of Mama Udora. Mama, I understand your fears, but take this as a token of my sincerity. I will take care of Udora, as I will take care of my mother. Udora's eyes widened at the sign of the new note. Her heart raced with excitement. Her mother, however, only stared at the money but didn't take it. Slowly, she stood up, her hands on her hips. I am an old woman, Daki. I have seen things in life. I do not know you, and I don't trust what I do not know. But my daughter is of age, and if she chooses you, I will not stand in her way. Udora stepped forward, her voice softer than usual. You traveled this far? She said. Daki nodded while smiling. For beauty such as yours, no distance is too great. Udora smiled, very happy. I accept your proposal, she declared. Daki grinned in victory. Then it is settled. Daki spared no expense for the wedding. He had hired the best musicians, sent for expensive wine from faraway lands, and gifted Udora's family bags of rice, livestock, and golden bracelets. To the villagers, he was the generous man, a noble suitor who truly valued his bride. Yui sat on a wooden stool outside her hut, grinding pepper, her mind troubled. Udora sat beside her, taking fresh air. Mama, you should be happy, Udora said, excitement in her voice. Everything is happening just as I wished. Daki is making sure I lack nothing. Yui sighed, wiping her hands on the cloth. My daughter, my heart is not at peace. Udora frowned. Mama, again with this? She asked. She said, Daki has proven himself. Look at all he has done. What more do you want? Yuri turned to face her daughter. My daughter, a man's true nature is not revealed by how much he gives, but by how he behaves when he is denied what he wants. Have you ever asked him for something and he said no to you? Have you ever disagreed with him? Udora moved her body uncomfortably. Why would I? Daki always provided for me. He always makes sure I have what I wanted. Yuri shook her head. That is what worries me. A man who only gives but never reveals his true thoughts is a man hiding something. Just then the loud voice of Daki rang through the compound. My beautiful bride! He called, striding towards them with a wide smile. Dressed in a rich robe, he carried a small wooden box in his hands. Udora's face lit up as she ran to meet him. Daki, you're here! Daki chuckled, opening the box to reveal a sparkling gold necklace. For you, my queen, he said, placing it around her neck. Udora admired it and turned to her mother. See, Mama, do men who are not good do this? Yuri, who ignored what her daughter said, turned to Daki. Daki, tell me something. What do you love most about my daughter? Daki paused for a second but quickly recovered. Ah, Mama, what a question. Udora is beautiful, obedient, and a perfect wife for a man like me. Yuri knew her daughter was far from being obedient. And what if she is not obedient? What if one day she did something you did not like? She asked. Daki's face darkened a bit but tried to pretend with a fake smile. Mama, why would she ever disobey me? I provide for her. She will never have a reason to upset me. Yuri felt uneasy again. Before she could speak, Udora laughed. Mama, stop up these unnecessary questions. My wedding is in 3 days. Let us celebrate. Daki grinned, placing an arm around Udora. Indeed, Mama. Let us be happy. As Daki led Udora away to discuss more preparations, Yuri watched them go and prayed deep inside that her daughter would not learn the truth too late. The anticipated wedding finally took place. Udora finally married Daki, the man of her dreams. Then came the time for the bride to leave with her husband. The extended family elders gathered, offering their final words of advice and prayers. Udora, you are now a wife. Honor your husband and build your home with wisdom, one of them said. Udora nodded. Daki stood beside her, his arms possessively around her waist, but his smile seemed more fake. Yuri forced a smile. Go well, my daughter. May the gods protect you. But in her heart, she felt unhappy. Daki led Udora to the waiting horse-drawn carriage. As the carriage started moving, Udora was excited, but as soon as they left the village behind, Daki's mood changed. His grip on her hand tightened. His warm, charming smile was gone. Udora looked at him surprised. Daki, is everything alright? He turned to her, his eyes cold. From now on, you would call me my lord. Udora shivered, but decided to ignore the feeling that it was the stress from the marriage. They got to his village and Daki told his wife that he should prepare to go to the city first thing the next morning. My husband, I never knew we were going to stay in the city. That's great news. Daki ignored her and went into his room. The city was filled with vibrancy and Udora was already liking the atmosphere. As they journeyed down, she turned to her husband, hoping to find warmth in his gaze, but his face was hard and emotionless. He hadn't spoken much since they left the village. The sweet, caring man she had fallen for seemed distant, almost unrecognizable. When the family arrived at his house, a big mansion in the city, Udora was surprised. It was more amazing than she imagined. Tall gates surrounded the compound with expensive cars lined the driveway. She had always dreamed of living in a place like this, where servants could cater for her every need. Daki got out of his car without saying a word, expecting her to follow. She hurried after him as he pushed open the heavy doors, stepping into the mansion. A group of young women, some barely older than her, stood silently near the staircase. Their faces were hollow. Udora frowned. Who are they? Daki ignored her. Come, he ordered, walking ahead. Udora was confused but followed him as he led her into a bedroom. The room was grand, but something was strange about it. You will sleep here, he said flatly. She opened her eyes in shock. This isn't our bedroom? Daki chuckled, with his voice fierce. Our bedroom. He turned, stepping closer to her. Did you think you married a prince? Udora's hand began to shake. Daki, what's wrong? Why are you speaking like this? He immediately cut her short. Silence! I told you. It's my lord, he warned. He grabbed her chin roughly, forcing her to look into his eyes. Listen carefully, village girl. The man you married does not exist. The kind, loving husband you thought you had. He laughed wickedly. Ha ha! That was just an act. Her heart pounded. Daki, please, you are scaring me. She refused to call him my lord. You think I would have happily married a rude and disobedient girl like you if only you had listened to your mother? But your greed didn't let you, Daki replied. His grip tightened. And yes, you should be scared. He let go of her face, patting her back slightly. You belong to me now, and you will do exactly as I say, he said with a wicked smile. It then dawned on her everything her mother had been telling her. Tears swelled down in her eyes. I don't understand. You will, he said, turning to leave. Rest well. Tomorrow your training begins. Udora lamented and cried all night. The next morning, Udora woke up to the sound of a loud knock on her door. Before she could respond, the door was opened and a woman, dressed in white, revealing clothes, walked in. Get up, the woman commanded. Udora got up quickly. Who are you? The woman gave a quick smile. I am Ami, your new friend. Udora shook her head. I don't need a new friend. I need to see my husband. Ami laughed bitterly. Husband? Oh, sweetheart. You really don't know, do you? Udora became curious. Know what? That man is not your husband. He is your owner. The words hit her hard. What are you saying? Ami folded her arms. Daki is a trafficker. Every woman in this house was brought here, just like you, lured in by his wealth and charm. Now we work for him. Udora's face changed as she shifted. Work? What work? You are going to sell your body, sweetheart, just like the rest of us, Ami replied. Udora jumped off the bed, shaking her head violently. No, that's a lie. My husband will do no such. Ami hissed so loud. Wake up! You're no longer a free woman. You will do what you are told, or you will suffer. Udora was devastated as tears rolled down her cheeks. This nightmare was real. For the next few weeks, she learned the harsh reality of her new life. She was locked inside the house, forced to dress in revealing clothes, paraded before men who looked at her like she was an object. She refused to cooperate at first, and the punishment was brutal. She was beaten, starved, and isolated. One evening, Udora was handed a short revealing dress again. Get ready, Ami said. You have a client tonight. Udora stared at the dress with dread eyes but said nothing. She had learned that the words meant nothing in this place. After the car drove her to an unknown location, her mind raced. She had spent weeks searching for a way out. When they arrived at the hotel, the driver told her to calm down. Don't try anything stupid, he warned. You know what happens to girls who do. She nodded silently and stepped inside. Her client was a middle-aged man, and the moment she entered the room, she forced a smile on her face. Come in, he said, sipping his drink. You're prettier than I expected. Udora nodded, pretending to be submissive, but inside her heart pounded. She had already observed the hotel while walking down the room. Minutes passed, and she watched as the man grew comfortable, loosening his tie and drinking more. She had learned to read them, how they moved, what they wanted, and most particularly, their weakness. When he finally turned his back to her to undress, she used the opportunity. With trembling hands, she grabbed the glass bottle from the table and smashed it against his head. He slumped as he laid unconscious. She gave a heavy sigh. She had done it. Without wasting a second, she ran out of the room. As she came out, she peeped if the guards who were sent to watch her were there. Luckily, they were asked to wait outside as it was hotel's policy. She acted normal so no one would be suspicious. She knew Daki's men were outside waiting in the black car. If they saw her, she was dead. Her only chance was the exit at the back of the building, used only when there was a fire incident or any emergency. She found the door and tried to open it, but it was locked. Her breath became heavy, not quite sure of what to do next. She looked around for a clue on how to open the door. Then she saw the keys in a glass shelf on the wall. She opened the shelf, removed the key, and quickly opened the emergency exit door. In order not to be noticed, she removed her heels and ran without stopping. She knew sooner or later that they would find out and look for her. So she ran and hid in an empty drum and covered the drum. Not quite long, a car arrived. It was Daki's men in it. They suspected she must have followed the emergency exit but believed she had already left. Just in case they were wrong, they searched around the vicinity. "She's gone! Search the streets!" one of the men said. Udora stayed silent and forced herself to be calm. When she was sure they had finished searching the street, she peeped from the drum and saw that the men had returned to the car to take orders on what to do next. She was happy that her position could not be viewed from the car. As she spotted a crowded bus stop from far off the other side of the street, she waited for Daki's men to drive off. With all the strength left in her, she came out of the drum, ran towards the bus station and got lost in the crowd. In no time, a bus pulled up and she pushed her way inside. She saw one of Daki's security men scanning the street. She immediately bent down so he wouldn't see her. The doors closed and the bus drove away. Udora finally allowed herself to breathe properly. Although she didn't know where the bus was going, but she was happy she was out of Daki's building. When Daki heard she had disappeared, he was mad. "First thing tomorrow morning, you all should find her and bring her back," he ranted. Luckily for Udora, the bus was heading for the east. It stopped at different villages and at each point, people dropped and the bus continued until it stopped at a place she recognized very well. She and her mother had once or twice been to the village on their market day to buy some items for an occasion years back. Udora escaped without paying the bus fare because there was no money with her. She spent the night in an uncompleted building she found until the next morning she turned into a beggar. People who saw her wondered how she could have shown up so early to beg for money. When she got some money from 3 persons, she took the nearest taxi to the motor park where she found vehicles going to her village. On getting home, her mother sighted her. Immediately she saw her mother, she burst into tears. She explained everything to her and asked her for forgiveness, that she was sorry and didn't know what she was doing. Her mom forgave her and wished she had realized earlier. The next day, Udora went to the elders and chiefs to tell them everything. Some of the well-known chiefs took Udora with them to the city the next day, and Udora directed them to Daki's house. The elders were wise enough to mark the house and then make entry at the nearest police station. The police asked the elders and Udora to join them to the place. But on reaching there, Daki was not found. He knew they would come for him, so he fled. The police arrested all the workers there and set the hostages free. They searched for him for days, but he was nowhere to be found. The police assured the elders that they would set up an investigation team to ensure Daki was caught and brought to book. They all returned to their various destinations. Udora from then stopped being rude, arrogant, and disrespectful. Rudeness does not allow us to learn from our elders and people around us. How about you? Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, story lovers. Again, this is Folks and Tales. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a big thumbs up. Comment and share this video to other story lovers. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever we upload a video. We will be uploading intriguing and captivating stories multiple times per week. You don't want to miss them. Until my next one, peace and love.